Welcome to a new episode of Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome sports and entertainment attorney Jaia Thomas. With over 10 years' experience, Thomas assists in the TV, film, and digital industries with intellectual property matters. Thomas has brokered and negotiated deals with several major networks, including ABC, NBC, and HBO. Her legal expertise has been cited in publications such as the New York Times, USA Today, and ESPN. Thomas joins this live stream of Listen In with KNN right now. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome into a brand new edition of Listen with KNN, presented by Fox Sports Radio. I hope you've had a fantastic week. There's been so much happening in the sports world, but today I'm excited to really hone in on diversity in sports and why it's needed, representation in sports, and really uplift and amplify Black women voices in sports. And that's why I'm so excited to have today's guest. I've seen her doing so many things, and we had a chance to briefly cross paths at Super Bowl in Las Vegas, but now we have a chance to talk to more in depth because why? They're coming here to Washington, D.C. to do something really amazing for students who want to be sports agents. And once upon a time, this girl wanted to be a sports agent. And nonetheless, I work with sports agents each and every day in my role. So without further ado, you heard it in the intro, but it's my pleasure and my honor to welcome Jaia Thomas to the show. Jaia, how are you? So great to have you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It is my pleasure. First off, are you in DC yet? Did you have travels here? Are you flying in tomorrow? What's your schedule look like?
I am in DC. Our event starts bright and early tomorrow morning at 9:30. So I am here.
We're excited. And for folks that don't know, there's a sports agent boot camp happening right here in our nation's capital. It's an effort to increase the number of Black sports agents, right? And we know that number needs to go up because every time I look, we're celebrating it, but we should need to keep celebrating it because we want that to keep happening and to become a norm, Jaia, which is what it feels like. So tell us a little bit about this camp, why Washington, D.C. was a great fit for it, and what we can expect to see here in the nation's capital. I know it's so many descending upon town. Everyone's been hitting up my phone talking about that they'll be here for the next 2 days, Jaia.
Yes, this is our first time doing it in Washington, D.C. So this is a 2-day program, all day Friday, all day Saturday, March 8th and 9th. And what it is it's a 2-day program that's going to feature a number of panels, workshops, fireside chats with some of the top Black sports agents in the country. And what they're really going to be doing is breaking down everything you need to know to become a sports agent. So they are covering topics ranging from how to study for the agent exam, how to get clients, how to launch your own agency, pretty much everything you need to know to become a sports agent, these speakers are going to be talking about. So we're super excited. We picked Washington, D.C. because it's such a great location. There's so many universities and colleges right here in D.C. And it's just a convenient location for people to get to. It's close to New York, it's close to Philly. And so, we're excited. We're excited to be here.
I love that. I know you're based in Los Angeles, Jaia, but that's one of the perks about the East Coast. Super easy to get to and from, which is great. Train, plane, however you're getting here, we are excited to see you. And I know there's some big names that are going to be there. Tandem Sports and Entertainment, Club Sports Groups, Octagon. I mean, if you follow sports, these are names you literally hear on a daily basis. So especially for young students, you talked about all the schools here. I'm thinking where I teach at George Washington University or Howard University here in DC, American University, and so many. They'll actually have access to these folks, which is not always easy, right? Unless you somehow get Super Bowl tickets or something like that, where you're able to be sitting next to these people. So why is that access so important, not just for young people, but anybody looking to break into the sports agency field?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these agents get hundreds, thousands of emails a week, and most of them don't have the bandwidth to read through all of them, better yet, respond. So honestly, it is really hard to get in touch with, with a lot of these people, and to have them all in one place where they're accessible, where a lot of them are willing to take the time to not only speak, on stage, but speak one-on-one with a lot of these, attendees who are going to be coming is invaluable. Because there's really no other place, like you said, unless you're at Super Bowl or maybe Combine, kind of some of these major sporting events, are you really going to have the opportunity to have access to these people? And the thing about the sports industry, it's not just what you know, it's also who you know. Yes. And it's so important to have mentors. It's so important to have, strong relationships with people in this space, because that's going to take you so much further than just what you know at the end of the day.
Yes, it definitely is making those relationships and networking and keeping those relationships, because you'll start to see the same people. And so as you see, the world is big but small. The sports world is even smaller than that. And, Jaia, what comes to my head is someone like Nicole Lynn, who I know so many people know her story, but I know we want many more. I would love for Black sports agents to be at the top of everyone's head. And all of us, if it's a Jeopardy question, all of us be able to name, what that answer is. So talk about maybe some of the voices that we'll get a chance to hear from if folks are registered for the Sports Agent Bootcamp. And is it too late for folks to register if they're hearing us now and saying, look, Kelsey and Jaia, I want to be there in DC and I want to learn?
Great question. So unfortunately, we are completely at capacity. So we don't have any more space for folks to come. But, this sold out so quickly that I think we're going to do a part 2 very soon. If people are interested, I would recommend that they follow us, sign up for our newsletter, because I think we are definitely going to do another one soon, just because there was so much interest and we sold out so quickly that I think we're definitely going to bring it back to DC, at some point in the, in the next few months. And in terms of some of the voices you're going to hear some agents who are local. There are a lot of people don't know this. Some of the top Black sports agents in the country are right here in Washington, D.C., which is another reason why D.C. was a great choice, because there are so many Black-owned sports agencies right here in D.C. There's Tandem, there's the Sports and Entertainment Group, and we were really able to pull from a lot of the local Black sports agents who are already here, representing amazing clients ranging from Grant Hill to Stephon Diggs. I mean, a lot of the Black agents here in DC have been doing amazing work for years. And so a lot of them are going to be speaking at the boot camp. But then we also have agents from across the country flying in, as far as LA. We have some agents from Cleveland, Texas, Indiana, really all over the country. Some work at big agencies, some work at small agencies. So it's a good mix of everybody who people are going to hear from.
So literally from all over the country coming here to just, again, 2 immersed days of learning, of interacting, of networking. What you talked about is so important. As we talk about, the Sports Agent Bootcamp and what folks are going to get from a media role and a media side, how can media help to uplift these stories? Because again, I don't think this is top of mind, unfortunately, and it shouldn't be. And I love one of your tweets, we shouldn't be amplifying, Black voices only during Black History Month. Black folks are here 365 days of the year, right? They're not going anywhere. So how can media help to, amplify these stories and really uplift, like you said, they're representing top players. How do we get that out there for folks to know truly what they can hopefully be once they see what's happening right now in sports?
It's a great question. So I think a lot of times in media, when they think about sports, they really just kind of think about the athletes, or they think about the coaches. And I still don't think media is doing enough focusing on more of the people behind the scenes, the agents, the owners, and now it's not a lot of us in that ownership suite, but the few that are, I think it's important for media to really kind of look at sports from a more holistic point of view, as opposed to just always kind of talking about the athletes and the coaches. So, a lot of these Black sports agents, a lot of people are not familiar with at all, and I think it would be great if the media did do a better job of shining a light on them to know that they exist. Because unfortunately, a lot of people still think that, to succeed in sports, I need a white agent. And I think the more that we focus on the successful Black agents that are out here, the more that it becomes the norm. And it's sad we almost have to convince people that it's okay to have a Black agent.
Yeah.
But to an extent, sometimes in 2024, we still have to do that. So I think it's important to show what a lot of these Black agents are doing, the clients they're representing, the work that they're doing, so that it does really become the norm to have a Black agent on your team.
Jaia, when you're talking, I hear the passion and I see the passion as you're talking. Where does that come from? Where did that spirit come from to want to really uplift and amplify these voices in a national representative way come from for you?
Yeah, I think it's kind of just always been inside of me. And I think it grew even more once I got into this space. So I am not an agent, but I am a lawyer by trade, a sports and entertainment lawyer. And I'm not going to tell my age, but I've been a lawyer for a very long time. And
you're experienced.
A little seasoned. And so, just having worked in this space for so long, I've seen firsthand the way that my white colleagues, get the media attention, get the accolades, get the recognition, as opposed to the attorneys who look like me, who are doing the same exact work, representing the same exact clients. So I just experienced it firsthand, to the point that I want to be a part of the change.
I love that, being part of the change. And I think that's going to help people realize, their value and their worth. Because so often we're in these spaces, you said it, having to prove ourselves. And that gets tiring after a while when you've done the groundwork. Like you said, you have the experience, but folks still not believing. That's what makes me so excited. Talking about recognition, something else that you had a chance to do, which really made me excited. July 7th. Officially recognized as National Black Women in Sports Day. First off, to have your own holiday, to me, it means something, right? It's something that's recognized. And of course, yes, shout out to your Black women in sports media every single day. But to have this day in July, which is also my birthday month and right before my birthday, how important, was this to officially get recognized? And what was the groundwork like to officially make this an officially recognized holiday?
Great question. So, it's so funny. About a year and a half ago, it was really I kind of like randomly came up with the idea that, there should be more to celebrate Black women in sports, and not just, Black women athletes, but all Black women who work in all facets of sports. And so I kind of came up with the idea. I didn't know where to start. I've never, started a holiday before. And I asked my intern at the time, another Black woman, who was a law student at the time, I said, can you do some research and find out how do we launch a holiday? Yeah. And so she did a lot of the groundwork. Shout out to Jordan. She did a lot of the groundwork to find out what were the steps we needed to take to start a holiday. And so she found out what we needed to do. We had to kind of file some paperwork. We had to pay a fee. And, from there, we were able to have our own official holiday. And so last year was our first year launching National Black Women in Sports Day. And it turned out so much better than I could have ever imagined. I didn't know if anyone would really pay attention, but it was amazing. I mean, people were tweeting all day, posting all day. And so we're looking to make it even bigger this year.
That's amazing. And see, the law background came in handy when filing that paperwork. But I hear you talk. It did, believe me, folks. If anybody was ever pre-law or went to law school, I know what y'all go through. And just having that holiday, you talked about it being recognized, but I'm just curious, did you receive any pushback or negativity from anyone, making maybe that thought it was exclusive or they felt like they weren't included? I'm just kind of curious. And how did you respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, no matter what we do with regards to my company, diverse representation, there are always some pushback. Since I launched this company, people have come and said, well, why are you just focusing on Black people? And why isn't it all people? And, yada, yada, yada. 98% of the time, I just ignore it. I don't really have the bandwidth to get into a lot of back and forth.
You're busy.
I'm busy. I don't have the bandwidth to really engage in a lot of back and forth. And I don't find it to be productive, a good use of my time. So I don't really do it. Now I will tell my team, if the negativity gets too much online, feel free to delete tweets, delete, like comments that people are leaving. So we will kind of keep an eye out on social media for those type of comments. But at the end of the day, honestly, I ignore it. And yes, I do get pushback. And when we launched this holiday, we got pushback. Why isn't it all women? Why are we being divisive? Why are we, we're being racist? I've heard it all. And honestly, I don't care. So it just
you have to be that unapologetic when you want to do something.
Yeah, this is what we're doing. If you don't like it, that's fine. You can start your own holiday, and it just is what it is. So no one's going to tell me like how to run my company. So if you have go do your own thing, and there's that. So.
There you go. If you don't want to follow, you don't have to follow. Our holiday will keep going on and keep getting recognized. And to build off the momentum, like you said, of the inaugural year last year. I know this is early. I know it's only March, but anything special planned as we get closer and closer to July for the holiday, Jaia?
Yeah, so we're still very much like in the early stages. But two things that we're kind of working on right now. Obviously, we still want the holiday to live online, and we want people to share their experience, talk about their mentors, talk about, the people they look up to. But two things that we're looking at doing this summer is, number one, we actually want to have a gallery. Like we want to do a gallery, either New York or LA, featuring artwork of Black women in sports. So we want to do some type of like gallery opening, some type of exhibit. Where we're showcasing, different facets of Black women in sports. So working on an exhibit right now, and then we're working on a dinner series in a couple of different cities. So dinner series in New York, LA, DC, Chicago, where it's an intimate dinner featuring Black women in sports, where we're just kind of coming together and celebrating Black women in sports. And honestly, one thing that I did notice when we launched last summer was that so many Black women who work in sports, it really felt like they had never been recognized. Like this was really kind of like their first time, being able to share their experiences or like have a voice in this space. So it's definitely something that's needed.
That's so powerful, Jaia, because, when you said that, I thought about it, and it's right. It's like, I felt like you can only talk about it in certain spaces. And it's like, now I feel like with the holiday, it's like, again, you have something that officially is there to recognize you. And I think about, women who might not feel supported, Black women in spaces right now, or maybe Black women who are in smaller cities, who really are fighting for recognition. So, I just think about how this is hopefully going to help them, really hopefully to continue to advocate for themselves. Because I'm all for Black girl magic in sports. I know it's everywhere, but again, to feel like you have a company backing you, I think is so important. And, that's why I think your company, Diverse Representation, and what it does. I remember when I first heard about it, I was part of the Minorities in Sports group, like when it first started. And even to be part of that group, I'll tell you, like that group chat is so refreshing to have these, that you can have that sometimes with people who just understand and get it. And then now to have diverse representation and what you guys are continuing to do to highlight, to amplify Black in sports, right? Black people in sports. I think it's powerful. Like, again, I think we're in a movement, in a Renaissance period where finally, I think people are starting to get why we've been so long calling out the need for this to happen. So let's talk about diverse representation, why you started it, and how you have been just, I guess, proud of the growth as you see the company continue to grow today. Because it really is, Jaia, and this is not just to toot your own horn. It's something that people know. I mean, literally, I talk to so many folks, and it's like diverse representation, I feel like, has made its stamp as a place, to really amplify and, again, expand Black sports, Blacks in sports, Black sports professionals, and, just anybody who really relates to what it takes to work in this crazy, crazy, but fun industry that we all love.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words. That's so sweet. So I launched, I still consider it very much a startup, even though we're coming up on 5 years now.
Amazing.
I mean, half of that time was during the pandemic. So I feel like we lost a lot of time. But I launched diverse representation for a couple different reasons. Like I said, as a Black woman lawyer in the sports and entertainment industry, I had experienced a lot firsthand. One of the things I had experienced for years was that a lot of my clients were Black, and usually I was the only Black person on their team. So I'm their lawyer, but their agent is white, their manager is white, their publicist is white, their financial advisor is white.
Wow.
And it always kind of used to make my skin crawl a little bit because I see all these Black athletes, all these Black entertainers, making all this money. And so much of their money is still being funneled into other communities, because they're not hiring people that look like them.
Yeah.
And so it was something that always irked me, but I didn't really know what to do with it aside from just like complain. And the straw that kind of broke the camel's back for me was the weekend the movie Black Panther came out. I had a conversation with a girlfriend who is a Black publicist, and we were like, okay, that's great. That's beautiful to see all these Black faces on screen. Kudos. But we started to wonder, like, who represents them, though? Like, who are the people behind the scenes, because we're celebrating this diversity on screen. But let's peel back the layers a little bit and find out, like, who's representing Michael B. Jordan? Who's representing Lupita? And that weekend, I did some research and found out that the entire cast had white agents, white managers, white publicists, white lawyers, except Lupita. She had a Black lawyer at the time. And I'm just like, this is insane. This is insane.
At a time when we're celebrating the Blackness of that movie, just like you said, to know the backstory.
And then you like pull back the layers and you're like, wait, maybe this isn't as diverse, and maybe we haven't made it as many strides as we think we have with regards to diversity, And so that was the weekend. I say, you know what, I'm going to just put together a directory of all the Black agents, all the Black attorneys, all the Black managers, all the Black publicists, so that when Black athletes and Black entertainers are looking to hire Black folks, here's this free website, here's this free directory. So no one can ever use the excuse anymore of, I can't find them. I can't find a Black lawyer. I can't find a Black agent.
Right.
Here's a free website. So you're going to have to come up with another excuse now. And so that weekend, I literally just came up with the name Diverse Representation, bought the domain, put together this list. And that's how the company started. I did not know, I had no idea what it was going to turn into. I did not have like a business plan. I did not say like, ooh, in 5 years, I want to do like a sports agent boot camp. Like I really had no clue.
Right.
I really didn't have a plan. I just wanted to get the information out there. I just wanted us to do a better job of hiring each other and keeping the money in our own communities, And so that's how it started. And honestly, everything that's come after that has been very organic. And I'm blown away at how it's grown because for all I know, it could have just stayed this directory,
Great, but it's went above and beyond. I mean, that's why we're talking today, Jaia, about, like you said, a sports boot camp that's about to take place here in DC. And, again, just to see the growth of that, I think has been so amazing. And then the partnership I know with minorities in sports. And, I just want to take us back briefly to Super Bowl in Las Vegas and talk about this great event that you guys had. It's Host of Black Sports. Beautiful restaurant in Las Vegas. There's a very good, beautiful backdrop. And then, celebrating Jason Wright, who, of course, folks in DC know very well with the Washington Commanders, and Kevin Warren, and, giving them a toast. And what they represent, and I don't know, I think they fully understand, but I don't know if they can fully understand how many eyes are looking at them each and every day. So if you can shed a little light on that. I know you started back at Super Bowl in Arizona, obviously Las Vegas. I can only imagine what's going to happen in New Orleans, in that city. So yeah, talk about, why it was so important for you, and, what did you enjoy most about that event?
Yeah, great question. So as you mentioned, we hosted this private lunch honoring Kevin and Jason. And I think it was an intimate lunch, it wasn't one of those lunches with like 100, 200 people. We purposely wanted to keep it small and intimate because at the end of the day, we wanted everybody in that room to walk away having met everybody else. And so a lot of people who came didn't know anyone else in the room when they came, and they left with new, relationships, new contacts. And that to me is of like the utmost importance. And so I really enjoyed that part, just seeing people network, meet each other, share information. And then also hearing Kevin and Jason speak. I mean, they both gave amazing speeches. And so overall, it was just a really great event. And we actually did 2 activations at Super Bowl. That was one of them. And we also partnered with William Morris Endeavor, who was one of our partners, to host a private lounge during Super Bowl as well for Black professionals in sports. So we did that as well. And we had Jamel Hill, Carrie Champion speak about, the state of Black women in sports. They were amazing. And we hosted a Black-owned gifting suite. So we had a gifting suite at this lounge of all Black-owned products for folks to take with them. So overall, the Super Bowl experience was amazing. Definitely looking forward to New Orleans.
I was going to say New Orleans. I can only imagine bigger, better. It's New Orleans. And I think we're there during Mardi Gras. So I feel like everything is going to be
amazing.
We are all counting down. And Jaia, as we look at diverse representation, we know the Sports Agent Boot Camp is coming up. We know Super Bowl is coming up in New Orleans. So what else can we expect from this group? And anybody who might just be finding out about it, what would you tell them? What would your pitch be, Jaia, if you're in that boardroom, to them about why this group can hopefully be a support for them?
Yeah, so diverse representation, we, aside from being a resource, if you go to our website, we have this resource of Black agents, attorneys, managers, and publicists. We also post job postings on our website as well. But aside from just being a resource, online, offline, we host a number of different programs and events throughout the year. Specifically on the sports side, we do the Sports Agent Boot Camp every year. Last year, we also started a new program called our Black Ownership in Sports Symposium. This is an event for any Black person who's interested in owning a professional sports team. So we hosted that event in September of last year. This is going to become an annual event where we bring in Black owners from across the country to walk attendees through, this is the process to become an owner. There's never really been anything like that to really help prepare Black folks to be owners. And that's one of the most important pieces of sports that we are missing still. So we do that. We do different, panels throughout the year. We do different events throughout the year. But yeah, if you're looking to really learn about different facets of the industry, diverse representation is a great resource for that. And just a great resource for networking and building relationships among folks who look like us in the space.
Which is so important. It's, again, been amazing. You guys partnering with Netflix and DreamWorks, Disney, Discovery, top companies, folks. Like, this is not the small stuff. And I think that just shows the power of this group. And before I let you go, Jaia, you said something, and, it's something I talk about all the time. And that's, Black folks in ownership positions, specifically the majority, right? Ownership positions. I know we've seen some growth in the minority sports, ownership part. I'm in Washington, D.C., and, everyone knows Magic Johnson, right? In his role, right now, but the Commanders. But I'm just curious, we talk about the ownership space, and if you can shed light on this, what do you feel like are some of the major setbacks as to why, unfortunately, Black folks haven't been able to attain that majority ownership level? Let's say NFL, but it's kind of across all sports, but specifically I know football is king, and that's really what we're kind of looking at a time when we're celebrating, right, a record number of Black team presidents. But again, that's in the leadership room, but we're not all the way at the top, right, with the ownership.
Right. Yeah, we're still missing from a lot of like the decision-making rooms, where decisions are actually being made, which is unfortunate because when you look at these leagues, we are, the majority of folks on the field. Right. So I think two things have been roadblocks for us in terms of ownership. I think the first and most obvious one is the financial piece. At the end of the day, a lot of us just don't have the type of wealth to be able to go and purchase an NFL team tomorrow. And that's just kind of the reality of it. Right. So I think that financial piece is a huge roadblock for the bulk of us. And I think the other piece is a lot of folks just don't even know about where to start. You know what I mean? Which is why I wanted to do this Black Ownership Symposium. So even if you can't go out and buy a team tomorrow, at least kind of what the process looks like. You know what I mean? You kind of know like what these contracts entail. You kind of know, how long it takes. And I think that's a really important piece. A lot of people just don't even know, and I think that's a huge barrier, the knowledge piece. I think it's important for us to know, everything that's needed to really get into those spaces. And the thing is, at the end of the day, a lot of these other owners, I'll say, and a lot of these things, they're not going to make it easy. You know what I mean? They're not just going to be like, oh, here's all the information you need to be an owner. Right. It's just not going to happen. So it's really, unfortunately, up to us to, figure a lot of that out on our own.
Yeah, I think that initiative, is so important because, right, it's not like you go somewhere like, hey, Jaia and Kelsey, well, let me teach you, how to become the next NFL owners.
Yeah, it's like not happening.
Here's how to find the capital for it and get partners. Like no one, I bet you no one would raise their hand to say if anybody's ever done that. But, it's like, but you need to be in those rooms and find out, and how do you get there? I think that access has been so hard. So the fact that I think you guys are making that access a bit easier It makes me smile because I would love in my lifetime, Jaia, to talk about a Black team owner. That would make me very happy. That's all I want in life. I just want to talk about a Black team owner. I'm a very simple girl, Jaia. But it's been so amazing, Jaia, having you on. Before I let you go, any last words that you want to leave with the audience? Because I know you're busy here in DC. And I know you have a lot to prepare for the next 2 days.
Once again, thanks so much for having me. If anyone is interested in learning more about diverse representation, you can visit our website, diverserepresentation.com. We're also very active on social, specifically Instagram and LinkedIn. So feel free to follow us there, sign up for our newsletters. That's where we share the bulk of our content. And I think that's the main stuff. Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's been my pleasure, Jaia. Looking forward to seeing you in DC. I hope you enjoy. I hope the city treats you well. We have a little bit more warm weather, so you came at the right time. Hopefully, it's LA.
Yeah, I hear it's gonna rain. I think maybe tomorrow or Saturday, but
DC can never be good to everybody all the time. I'm so sorry, Jaia. We are giving you that. But excited to see you soon. You guys heard her. Follow Diverse Representation. They're on social media. Lots of cool things coming up. Again, this is space for everybody. Agents, publicists, whoever you are. If you have been looking for that space, join other Blacks in sports. This is the place. I promise you. You will not be mad. You will not be steered wrong. Jaia Thomas, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great one. Great to see you again. Bye. All right, guys, you guys have just heard again from Jaia Thomas, amazing entrepreneur, lawyer, and so many different facets. But again, giving back to the community and helping people find out what it takes to be an agent in ownership in sports, right? Things that we know, unfortunately, don't occur enough. So appreciate you guys tuning in. A new audio show will be dropping this weekend, so be sure to tune in to that. Again, listen in with KNN.com. And as always, thanks to my amazing team for helping everything go. Can't wait to see you guys soon. Have a fantastic weekend. And until next time, see you guys later. Bye, guys.
Follow Kelsey on social media at The Real K Nelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio in the Washington, D.C. area, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.
Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio now offers official Kelsey Nicole Nelson apparel in a variety of styles for men and women. Fashionable shirts, leggings, hats, jackets, and more. Order now and get 15% off and free shipping. Just enter promo code KNN. Get your Listen In with KNN wearables today. And check out Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio with Kelsey Nicole Nelson.